A warm welcome to the elective course Manet, and this is the 7th semester elective and what you have been learning in your curriculum. So before entering into the mobile ad hoc networks, here we discuss completely about a wireless network, and that is the main motto of that network is to transmit data by using the wireless medium. And that is the agenda for so the agenda of this kind of network is we have to transmit the information using a wireless medium, and that is the ultimate motto of this mobile ad hoc network. And what are the challenges and what are the issues and what are the merits, demerits that are available in Manet that we can able to see. So before entering into or before going to see what is meant by this wireless network, let me have overview over what we learned in the computer networks of the lower semester. Okay, normally you remember that a network is interconnection of devices. You remember that a network is an interconnection of devices. So a data that is originated from a part of a globe need to be transmitted to the last end destination by using a series combinations of networking components. Then we call that as a networks. Normally the networks that is available in the back end will be interconnected by using the different topologies. It may be a mesh topology or it may be a star topology. They have been interconnected in all possible combination to reach the information that is originated from one side to the next end side. So that is the main motto of our networks. So interconnection, the components involved. What are the components involved in networks? You remember that we have to have a source, a receiver, a data. Data should be a meaningful information, and then a medium. Normally we classify the medium as wired and wireless. You remember, we normally classify the information as wired and wireless, and normally the fifth is the protocol. So by these 5 components, normally we call this as the components of networks. By using these 5 components, we go for constructing a network. Without these 5 components, if a component is missing, then normally we can't be able to construct a network. That is the main motto, to share the information from one end to next end. So normally we have 7 layers. So I have taken the 7 layer setup from the open source. Let me display here the layers what are being available. One is the physical layer, the data link layer, the network layer, the transport layer, the session layer, the presentation layer, and the application layer. And normally the involvement of every layer to layer, you remember, once again I remember this, the physical layer is responsible for is being connected with, it is a medium dependent, it is a media dependent. Either it has been connected with a wired medium or a wireless medium, and the information that has been transmitted in that is either represented as electric pulses or signals, and we have the binary transmission format, and normally it has been notated in the combinations of bits. Data link layer, normally the data link layer, internal segment of the data link layer, it is having the MAC layer and also the logical link layer, and the data link layer is responsible for physical addressing, you remember. And once again the information that has been generated here we have been calling as either a packet or a frame. And what are the other responsibilities of data link layer? The main feature of the data link layer that it is meant for accessing the medium, or it has the information relevant with the access control mechanism. So how to access the medium, whether the medium is ideal or whether the medium is busy. On the basis of the medium availability, the information is transmitted. So the access control mechanism, how to access the medium, these are the protocols that have been relevant with the data link layer. And next is the networks layer. The network layer is the occupying the L3 layer, and it is responsible for interconnectivity until the data link layer and the physical layer. We normally call this as a local network, and when we go on to the networks layer we call it as internetwork. and that is connecting a source with respect to the destination. So normally here the path has been determined how to reach the destination, and we use the normal protocol called as an IP, and here we call that the information as the packets. So the packets have been transmitted from one end to another end. These are the normal methodology that has been notated for the networks layer. So different algorithms we remember to frame the networking protocols. The certain algorithms what we have been learned as a RIP protocol, YSPF. These are the protocols what we have been learned in the lower semesters. We remember RIP and we remember YSP. These are the protocols what we have been learned in the lower semesters. And when we have been coming to the IP part, we remember that we are having classful addressing and classless addressing. And classless. These two we remember. And I doesn't want to go deep into what is meant by classful and classless. But when we remember, that is we have A, B, C, D and E. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D and Class E. You remember that this D and E is meant for higher applications. You remember? And so normally when we go with Manet, we use these two different IP versions for building the networks. That is quite sufficient. We remember what are the classful addressing what we learned. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D and Class E. You remember that it starts from 0 to 127. I doesn't want to go into it. But Class D and Class E, what we have been learnt in your lower semester is it is meant for higher application. So that higher application, this Class D and Class E is meant here. We have been using for Manet and WSN, wireless sensor networks. These are the two areas where we are using Class D and Class E addressing. And the next information is your transport layer, where the transport layer we are been involving with the end-to-end connectivity and reliability, where we remember what is meant by TCP protocol and the UDP protocol, what we have been learned, and here we call or we involve the information as segments. Segmentation process is happening. And the other three layers, application layer, the presentation layer and the session layer, we normally call as an user interface layer. Session is meant for to retain the connectivity between myself with respect to destination. So it looks into the session what has been happening in the data. So the data that has been coming from application layer is been retained till until the my terminal window opens. So these are the three layers that has been meant as a user interface layer. So until the session layer, the information that has been originated from the application layer has been taken as data, and transport layer it has been meant as segments. So here the segmentation take place, and here the fragmentation take place. You remember. So when we speak with respect to the higher application, that is Manet, normally these three layers, the networks layer, the data link layer and the physical layer is more important than the rest of the layers. Of course we deal with the transport layer, but the network layer, the MAC layer and the physical layer is more responsible. Moreover, apart from the physical layer, the MAC layer, the network layer is very vital in building the network connectivity for the data transmission in wireless network. And that are the information that we are going to learn from the forthcoming the elective course. So the last coming to the last part of the lecture, I just want to have one mind warming session. Can you guess and can you get some information relevant with what may be the topology that the wireless network will adapt? We have learned multiple topologies in wired network. It is a bus topology, it is a star topology, mesh topology. Some other networks we have topology what we have been learned in our wired medium. And guess what may be the topology that a wireless medium can able to adapt for a better transmission process from one end to another end. Hope you may understand what is the question, and this is the mind warming session. Just think over it, and if you are able to identify the information, just sketch out the information in a paper, scan it back and send it to me, and thank you.